So, as I said, we are overcoming obstacles and we are cultivating self-awareness. I am completely within the understanding that we have done an overcoming objections and things prior to tonight. So some of the things that come up you may have heard before, but I've switched it to overcoming obstacles and use this from a different perspective. Rather than the selling perspective, which again we have done before, I have done this almost prior and almost setting yourself up and those obstacles that may come around. So hopefully that will make sense to you, but we'll get into it. So, as travel agents, you are going to face numerous challenges. They're going to be limited networks, imposter syndrome, the pressure of client expectations, and overcoming them absolutely is essential. It's not just for the professional growth, but it's also to be able to build a sustainable career within the industry and also build those long-term lasting relationships with your customers as well. So understanding the friend and family zone. So this is, I don't want this to come across as though it's a negative area. I had a lovely one-to-one this morning with somebody who has got probably a full client base of friends and family alone. So it's not that I want this to come across negative, but what I do want people to understand is that if you're in this business for, let's say, 18 months and you're still stuck within that friend and family zone, it may be that we perhaps need to look elsewhere. So the definition of the friends and family zone is, of course, just referring to that tendency of relying on your close personal network for business. And this can limit your professional reach and those opportunities. This zone will often include customers who are familiar to you and therefore comfortable, but may not provide the growth that you need in order to expand your client base. Now, the impact of this, unfortunately, can and would hinder your ability to be able to grow. It limits the exposure to any new customers, any new experiences, and it reduces the opportunities for referrals, as well as the ability to showcase your expertise to a broader audience. But the strategies that you can use to be able to break free from that zone is quite simply to get uncomfortable. You have to take proactive steps, putting your name out there on social media, putting your face out there, perhaps attending network events if that's something that you can do and is available to you, as well as implementing consistent marketing strategies in order to reach that wider audience. Engaging with potential customers, I've put two S's there, outside of personal circles is also crucial for expanding your business. And also your own knowledge. You gain so much knowledge, even from those customers that don't book. You are still learning something new every single time. So the importance of actually being uncomfortable. So stepping outside of your comfort zone is essential for personal and professional growth. When you as travel agents take risks, such as promoting yourselves on social media, putting your face out there, going to these networking or local events, they really do open the doors to new opportunities. Asking for referrals, as in literally asking for referrals or attending conferences on your own, can actually give you and lead you to huge, significant breakthroughs. These kind of experiences will result in increased visibility. And obviously, when it comes to your social media and things like that, you can absolutely look at these analytics. It's also going to build new client relationships, as well as, like I say, enhancing your own confidence, which I think most of us, certainly those of us that have been around perhaps a little longer, are now completely aware of the importance of that self-confidence and encouragement to embrace the discomfort. So it really does require a mindset shift. But if you start by setting small, bite-sized goals that push you slightly out of your comfort zone, celebrate those successes, learn from those experiences, build resilience and that confidence. It's encouraging you just bit by bit to feel uncomfortable, but know that it's for the greater good of your business. And just a slight overview of building your online presence here. Again, I've not gone into this too much because we've done a lot on it, and I think people are very much taking off with it as well. But select your platforms wisely. If you do not use Instagram, you do not know how to market the business side of Instagram, is there any point whatsoever in having it? Absolutely not. Share your own unique experiences. You know, we're all humans. That's you sat actually selling the holidays, but those that are wanting to buy them as well. Utilize your video content. Is somebody going to want to sit and watch a 6 minute video? Probably not. But short, sharp, straight to the point, those kind of, short clips, that's what people prefer to watch. Just use those effectively. Respond to any comments promptly and monitor your analytics. See what's going on. Have you had a dip in views? If you have had a dip in views, have you posted less? Have you been posting something different? Is that not working for you? And then going very briefly onto networking. So if you can attend local events, and it doesn't have to be specific networking events, but certainly, for example, where I live, we have like a weekly sort of market. Now, as much as I wouldn't personally have anything that I could maybe go and set up a market stall for, what I do know is that those businesses that come along each week come from quite far and wide. So actually handing over my business card and introducing myself and who I am, they're pretty much doing the same thing, just with physical products that they're selling. So anything like that, but it is building stronger relationships. You are increasing your visibility within your own community. And like I say, if it does turn out to be something like I have in my local town, you're actually getting people from all over the place, especially at this time of year. Share your expertise openly. Listen actively and engage. Really do listen to what these people are telling you. They are potential customers. You want them from the get-go to know that you listen, you take it in, and you understand and you engage with them. And of course, following up is crucial for any connections. So even right now, what I'm talking about, we're before any inquiry stage at all, still following up about that fantastic conversation that you had yesterday. And you mentioned that you were wanting to go to Turkey with your family next year. Thought I'd leave you for yesterday because I know how busy it was and come back to you today. How are you getting on? Have you thought any further about it? Do you want me to look into this for you? And it really is as simple as that. And then some consistent marketing strategies. So the importance of regular marketing, it is essential. It's essential for a few reasons, but certainly maintaining the visibility, staying top of mind with potential customers. Is there a reason I keep putting two S's? Potential customers, yes, staying at the top of mind with potential customers. It helps build your brand recognition. It ensures that customers remember you when they consider what they're doing next, but also all of these algorithms and things like that maybe once didn't even exist once upon a time, or we didn't know anything about it. We do now know the importance of being consistent, and therefore these, Meta and TikTok and all of those kind of people then using it to put you in the correct algorithm as well. Creating a marketing calendar. And this can be as simple and straightforward or as technical as you want it to be. But what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to plan and schedule any content in advance. Ensure that you are engaging consistently with your audience. So obviously, we already know Facebook and platforms like that, you can schedule your posts. But what about actually having a calendar and knowing that on a Tuesday evening, for example, you are going to spend 1 hour creating posts and scheduling those for the next X amount of days. And then you may do the same on a Friday evening, for example. That isn't me telling everybody to spend their weekends creating social media posts, but you understand where I'm going with that. It's going to help you align marketing efforts with seasonal trends. different holidays, different promotions, discounts, Black Friday, and of course, maximize the impact that that's having on your pages, on your social medias, on your customers, on the clicks to your page, and ultimately on your bookings as well. And using tools for automation can also help you out massively, saving time, improving the consistency of your marketing efforts. So, again, they can help you schedule posts, sending automated emails, tracking your engagement, and allowing you to focus more on the relationship side of things rather than having to check through a ton of emails as to whether or not you sent something specifically that you felt like you needed to send this morning, because the days do run away with you and things do creep up. And a lot of you have already got other jobs and things like that. So using these tools that can help you do that is just, it's relaxing you, it's taking a weight off your mind, and it's also providing that extra level of customer service for your customers. Implementing structured systems is very much essential for all agents to navigate challenges effectively. So these kind of systems don't just streamline your processes, they will minimize errors, which is obviously monetary value and time and effort. And it's going to ensure that you stay organized and efficient within your operations. Now, again, this can include your analytics, your engagement insights, your automated emails. And again, it's just enhancing your customer service levels. I don't think personally I've ever sent any of our agents an email and received any kind of automation whatsoever. Now, this isn't just emails either. This could be on your social medias. Now, on your social medias, I am more than aware that we do have quite a lot of agents that have set up automated responses. Thank you very much for contacting Sharna's Travel, whatever it might be, etc., etc. But I'm not sure that any of us have thought about taking it up a notch and doing it with emails. It's very simple to do. It's very straightforward. You can turn them off, you can turn them on, and you can schedule them, schedule these emails as well. If you have a customer that's booked with you and you're already, on your laptop, for example, because you're going through the confirmation, you're just double checking that the payment's been taken, all of that kind of thing. Why not also just set up an automated email to go out at 9 o'clock the next morning saying, thank you very much for booking. The next steps may be X, Y, and Z. Part of my role is to ensure that I keep you updated should anything change with the visa of wherever it might be that you're going. It can be as simple or as complex as you like in there. The information can be as little or as much as you want it to be, but it's just a little extra touch. You're already on the laptop, you're already dealing with that customer. Creating research and presentation systems. So define your research parameters. If you define your destination and you start writing down all of your clients' preferences, all of their must-haves, their wants, their needs, using sources, websites that we've already got in place, forums that you may be able to trust and go on, reviews, gathering the data on the accommodations, on the activities, on the transport, whatever that might look like in your specific inquiry, and document your findings. Make sure that nothing's overlooked. And this is key to, again, those of you that have been around a little bit longer will understand these kind of terms. But that read back that you need to be doing with your customer. If they give you 8 different things that is an absolute must have in their inquiry, by making sure you're documenting everything, when it then comes to you picking up that phone and speaking to them, you are reading back all of those 8 things that were in their must haves. You've documented it and you have ticked every single box that they possibly could have asked you for. And then the leverage technology for presentation, using software, and this isn't anything fancy. Again, I am totally aware we've got some what I would call tech whizzes on here, and we've also got people, agents on here that like to perhaps go to these all singing, all dancing kind of software online sites and things. That's no problem. My point here is that you don't have to go out of your way to find something super duper. Google Drive, Evernote, ChatGPT. I popped that in there because I know that we've all used it for this job in one way or another. Or, like I say, if it is specialized planning software, something that fits your aesthetic to be able to present your options. Now, again, I'm not going to use names. There is an agent on here currently. I had a one-to-one with them a few weeks back now, and they showed me what they had sent to their customer and the way that they had done it. And when I tell you, so it was photographs and it was very sort of short and sharp, straight to the point, punchy. The details were on there, but it wasn't set out like a, let's say, like a princess invitation. Now, had it have been set out like a princess invitation, as lovely as it would have looked, I can guarantee, even from a 1 hour call, I would have said that does not suit you. That is not your aesthetic. I just know it isn't. But what you've done with this, you know, you've put the cost here, you've put where it is, you've put the dates there, you've put, and the pictures and the way that they are, that suited that agent's aesthetic to a T. Using Google Drive, using Evernote, using ChatGPT, you can make it and you can tailor it, but keep it with your own personality. They can help present the information very clearly, very visually appealing, sorry. And of course, it can make it easier for customers to understand. It will look professional, but you can keep yourself and your own personality in there. Technology is our friend as much as we may not like it sometimes. And using systems and enhancing your own efficiency. A systematic approach will help reducing errors. And again, that is time, that is money, and that is disappointment, and that is perhaps a lost customer. It's going to enhance the efficiency. Following a structured method, and this is start to finish, following a structured method for your research and for the way that you present your options is going to save time, because you've already got a flow going. It's going to ensure that you're being consistent, because the truth of the matter is somebody may say to us, hello, Sharna, you booked my holiday last July, but that does not mean I'm going to remember. So keeping it consistent, improve your service quality. And again, that's going to lead to higher satisfaction rates and a higher retention rate as well. And just a little bit on like the templates and the proposals and your itineraries. So streamline your proposal creation process. Standardize your itineraries for all of your customers. Again, that is just keeping it consistent. It's going to enhance your professionalism in the way that you present all of your options. You are going to reduce any repetitive tasks significantly. You've got everything written down. You've got a strategy in place, and you can facilitate any quick updates and changes because you're keeping it consistent throughout the board. So one change is then going to change all of them going forward. And some automated email strategies. So saving time, reducing errors. Automated emails can really can save that time and reduce the risk of errors in communication. By setting up an automated response for common inquiries, for follow-ups, you're ensuring that all of your customers are receiving timely and consistent information. That's going to enhance their experience and build their trust. So that could be, if you know that you're away for the weekend, just popping it on there that you may have limited access to your emails. It could be having an automated email on there to say what your working hours are and things like that, so that you're also instantly setting your expectations and their expectations also. Key emails that it might be worth thinking about automating. Initial inquiries, as I said, booking confirmations. Now that could be as simple as, thank you very much for booking. Please allow up to 24 hours for your booking confirmation. Something as simple as that. Follow-ups on inquiries, payment reminders, any deadlines, welcome home emails. By automating these communications, you are going to be providing a seamless experience for all of your customers, all of them, and ensuring that no important message is overlooked. So that could be as simple as 4 weeks before, where I've put there no messages overlooked. 4 weeks prior to departure, perhaps pop it in your calendar to schedule an automated email and make sure that your customers' passports are up to date. It could be for them to double check that no FCA foreign advice has changed, and you could pop a link on there. It could be please ensure that you've got your travel insurance in place, almost like a little bit of a checklist, just helping them out that few weeks prior to departure. 9 times out of 10, tickets are due a couple of weeks prior to departure, so you could even put on there, this is your 28-day countdown, here's a checklist for you, etc, 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 and then pop at the bottom that your tickets will usually arrive 10 to 14 days prior to travel. You will send these out in a separate email, anything like that. But automated emails, I think we overlook too much, if I'm being totally honest. And I've put tools on there, but I don't really think we need them, because 9 times out of 10, our email systems that we use ourselves, you can set up these automated emails anyway. For anybody who hasn't, you have got the likes of MailChimp, Constant Contact, Active Campaign, and they offer very user-friendly interfaces. And like I say, you can create those automated email workflows, track the engagement, analyze any campaign performances that you might be putting in there. I know some of you do send newsletters and things to your customers, but again, it is providing any insights that you may need, but it is also stepping up that customer service as well. So utilizing checklists for efficiency, streaming your workflow efficiency, preventing any costly mistakes, ensuring thorough client communication, and that is also treating all of those customers the same, enhancing your time management skills, and facilitating better customer experiences. And what could happen if you don't perhaps think about putting any system in place? So the first thing, you could well miss some deadlines. Excuse me. You could miss follow-ups. If you're writing everything down, as much as I don't disagree with having things in black and white, it's also too easy to lose that scrappy piece of paper. And therefore, it could lead to losing any opportunities. A lack of organisation can also result in missed payments, a double booking, for example, unnecessary confusion, hopefully not, but it could lead to financial loss, but also your own frame of mind. If everything you look at is a mess and it's jumbled and it's just so unorganized, you're setting yourself and your own mind up to be that way as well. Damage to reputation. Obviously, some of this, unfortunately, guys, is going to be negative, and I don't like it, but we absolutely do have to put it in here. But these kind of errors that could stem from a lack of having such a simple system in place could absolutely tarnish an agent's reputation. They do expect timely communication. They expect accurate information, and these mistakes can lead to, the monetary thing aside, to dissatisfaction, any future business relationship being tarnished, complete damage to any trust that's been built, and that awful side of that word of mouth as well, and real life consequences. So there is an agent not too long ago who literally just forgot to check the client's requirements for where they were traveling, and it resulted in them being unable to board their flight. Now, as I'm sure you can imagine, this was financial loss for both agent and customer. It's also leading to negative reviews all over social media, and actually ended in a court case. Aside from that, it's a heck of a lot of stress for both the customer and the agent. Now, I felt like I had to add this on the end because this is a real life case. It is not your responsibility to necessarily check a client's passport requirements. However, if you can just simply guide your customer to check, to go on the Foreign Office website, you have backed yourself up. You have popped that, let's say, on one of these automated emails that I was just talking about, and there can be absolutely no comeback for you whatsoever. Now, this is a bit of a funny one, and there didn't actually end up being any comeback to the agent, again, because it isn't the agent's responsibility. But you can imagine the names and the screaming, the shouting, and the swearing that was presented to that agent. You can imagine the tears from the agent's perspective and the aftermath, the feeling for that agent. The customers still, I imagine, flying there at their own cost and probably punching walls, and kicking the back of the person in front of the seat and whatever it might be. But the lasting damage from a mental perspective for the agent as well. The customers probably lost trust not just in that agent, but perhaps in agents full stop. And that agent is probably petrified of making any kind of bookings for a while. So just having simple things like an automated email that says, please go ahead and check the Foreign Office website for visa and passport requirements. Here's the link. Simple as that, you backed yourself up. If that customer chooses not to read or not to do that, that's no problem to you. That is not your issue at all. Imposter syndrome is real, is the first thing I want to say. It is real, and it is a psychological pattern where individuals doubt their accomplishments, have persistent fear of being exposed as a fraud. Now, I think that this is absolutely huge within the travel industry. For us as agents, it can manifest as feeling unqualified, maybe to advise customers. You maybe haven't visited a destination, but what you need to realize is, despite maybe feeling like that, despite not being to these destinations or necessarily knowing the ins and outs of that tour that this customer wants, what you do have, what we all have, is this unique knowledge, because we've got the resources. So we've already actually got more than what that customer has got anyway. And that is what we need to use to feel the confidence and to empower ourselves within our role. Those skills, those tools, those resources that we've got, they are very, very valuable. Yes, sorry, you are a professional and you do have very, very valuable skills. Leveraging your expertise. So understand your own unique skills. Like I say, it could be that you do have destination knowledge in a certain area. It could be that you don't, but we've got techniques, we've got the tools, we've got the sites, we've got the suppliers to help us. Negotiation techniques, we've learned about this. We've got recordings on this. We can go back to this. We can use someone else's knowledge and we can shape it to suit our own personalities. And of course, we've got the customer service abilities as well. Recognize those strengths. That brings us back to, again, those of us that have been around a little while longer, one of my favorite sayings, people buy from people. So use those other skills as well that you have got to draw your customers to you in this kind of market. Yes, it's $9 trillion. Yes, there is a silly amount of customers sat within that pool, but it is still a competitive market. Building confidence in your knowledge. So confidence within your expertise will stem from continuous learning and experience. That could be, depending on how you work, that could be 10 minutes a day. If you like to look at bite-sized pieces of knowledge and that's how it sits in your brain, then that's no problem. If you know that you do nothing on a Thursday night after here and you've got an hour free, then go for it there. I personally, I'm sure this is too much information. I personally will sometimes sit in the bath where I've got my quiet time and I think, right, okay, do you know what? This is just me now on my own. No child, no dog, no pot, anything at all. Let me now do this. And that's okay, because that's how I take those things in. But as you expand your knowledge of your destinations, your different travel options, what clients may want, what you think would be a great area to look into, something that you've maybe not seen advertised before, you're building your own confidence. You're also building the assurance that you need to provide the service and overcome all of these feelings of what is imposter syndrome, and effectively communicating your value. So, showcasing your expertise. You may know nothing about it, but you've been away, you've got everything necessary. You may have looked up a couple of things as well. And when you come back to them, you absolutely know what you're talking about. You've understood their needs, you have provided their solutions, you've got options for them, you've ticked all of their boxes. Use real life reviews. And don't get me wrong, this isn't me asking you to go on the likes of TripAdvisor and read them out. But something I've always personally used is, oh, on TripAdvisor, just to let you know, this is showing, as we know, this is a 4-star hotel, but on TripAdvisor, there's over 4,000 reviews and it's coming in at 4.5 out of 5. That's fantastic. So I'm not using a specific review per se, but I will use it that way. Or I may say, by the way, I had a quick look for you, and this hotel, obviously, this will only work in certain circumstances. This hotel is actually ranked number 8 in the whole resort, of every single hotel within the resort on TripAdvisor. So that is actually from real life customer reviews. It can be as simple as that. So that's using real life, whether it's testimonials or case studies, but that clear communication, those real life scenarios, it's going to reinforce your professionalism. And again, we're establishing that trust and that relationship with the customer. And then on to a little bit of time management and some boundaries. We all know the importance of time management. It is essential for us. We need to ensure that any tasks that need to be done are completed efficiently and effectively. It's going to allow us to prioritize our workload, meet any deadlines, and of course, enhance the client satisfaction. Good time management skills is going to lead to better decision making, less stress, and contribute to a more balanced professional life, which we are all about. And setting boundaries is also going to help define your workload. It's going to protect your own personal time. And again, you're going to maintain that healthy work-life balance. Certainly, once again, for those of you who may have full-time or even part-time jobs, and then you're doing this as well, it's really important to have that work-life balance. It requires clear communication about your availability, about your limits, about your work hours. Setting those boundaries is going to prevent any burnouts, and it's going to allow you to focus on providing quality service to your customers. And of course, there's many benefits of time management and of setting boundaries, but it's going to increase productivity. It's going to reduce your stress. It's going to improve your relationships with your customers. By managing your time well, you can ensure that they meet customer needs without sacrificing your own personal time. And that, of course, is going to lead to a more fulfilled career for you within this industry. And then on to the role of self-awareness. So being self-aware as a travel agent is essential for lots of reasons. It is essential for understanding your own strengths, your own weaknesses, and the impact of your decisions for customers and your agency. It's going to allow you to recognize any industry trends, set your own realistic goals, and make informed decisions, again, leading to a more successful career. So recognizing your own strengths and weaknesses. Personal strengths as a travel agent is going to allow you to leverage them in your client interactions. Now, this isn't necessarily targeting a specific destination or a specific country. It could be that you've got communication skills, excellent communication skills, and therefore you can use your voice and you can use your words to draw that customer in. It could be that you've got strong negotiation abilities. Now, again, that is fantastic, because it means that you can negotiate with that customer. And it could be that you have got the extensive travel knowledge. No matter which one of those you do have in this industry, and every time you pick up the phone to a customer or you send another email or you do another inquiry, you are still actually building on all 3 of those examples there. But identifying what you do best and knowing that you are growing and building on the others is still going to build your confidence. And also, going back to that imposter syndrome, help you realize that that absolutely is not the case and you are valuable. Something else that we need to do is acknowledge our weaknesses. And the reason for this is that it's personal and professional growth. It's going to allow you to be transparent with yourself, and it's also going to allow you to be transparent with your customers. Common weaknesses may include time management, something that we've just spoken about, a lack of familiarity. Oh my gosh, familiarity. No, I can't even do it. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's wrong with me. With certain destinations, acknowledging these kind of areas is actually going to provide you with a clear starting point for improvement. Now, this is something I used to do quite regularly. Some of you may have heard it, some of you may have done them before, but it's called a SWOT analysis. And it literally would be a grid that you would fill in yourself of strengths and weaknesses. And I can't remember the other two, which is just typical for me on a Thursday night. Of course I can't. But it's the whole point of it. It's recognizing your strengths and how you are going to elevate them even further. It's acknowledging your weaknesses and what can you actually do to help build confidence and grow from those weaknesses, and even sometimes use them to your advantage. It isn't a bad thing to admit that you've got them. And strategies to improve. So it could be that you seek mentorship from other people. And I think we all do that quite well, if I'm being totally honest. Participating in the training sessions just as you are now. Or maybe it is investing in professional development resources. People have different ways of learning. People have different ways of getting out there and doing that. But there's different ways available. Setting specific and again, small measurable goals for your weaknesses can help to facilitate growth. This is within yourself, within your business, and ultimately, of course, within the booking numbers. Consistent self-reflection and feedback from peers can also guide your improvement journey. That could be from all of you sat on here tonight in lifetime. It could be from your mentor. It could be from me, for example. Either which way, it's constructive, it's concise, and it's things that we can work on with each other. And then understanding industry trends and market conditions. So staying informed about industry trends is crucial for agents. I feel as though this is not new to anybody. And I also think that between us, certainly looking at the WhatsApp group and things like that, that's something that's done quite well, and I think will continue to grow. Not too long ago, we spoke about maybe thinking about the Christmas market side of things. And as the climate here gets colder and colder, absolutely worth start putting on your Thailands and places like that where people love to disappear to in January, because it's the complete opposite of what we're dealing with. All of that sort of knowledge, those kind of trending times of year and trending trending destinations, that will also grow the longer that you're in here within the program. But it's also going to keep you competitive within this huge market as well. So many resources. I don't even necessarily feel like I needed to put this in here, because we already know this. We know that our suppliers do their own webinars. We know that you can go to our supplier websites directly. You've got social media platforms. You've got professional networks. You've got all of these flash sales and things like that. But engaging with all of these will help you gain those insights and be able to share between us all within the community as well, and adapting to the changes. So again, this is essential for moving with the times. The travel industry moves with the times. And that is something that we cannot stop. Once upon a time, again, I'm going back to when I was very much sat in store, we would get asked quite regularly, certainly more so for the younger market. I don't want to say 1830s, but that kind of younger market. They would ask us, where is the place to go this year? And we had to keep on top of it, and we had to keep ourselves understanding that one year it is Ayia Napa and it went crazy, but the next year all of a sudden it was Kavos. And then as prices started to go up in Magaluf, people hopped over to the likes of Sunny Beach in Bulgaria. But what you're doing is, yes, you're keeping on top of it. Yes, you're giving yourself that little bit of extra knowledge and keeping yourself a step ahead. But it also means that when somebody does ask you that question, you aren't just going to sink, you are staying relevant. And dealing with client frustrations. So you may get a customer who is frustrated. It could be that they've had a delay. It could be that there's been miscommunication. It could be that there's been unexpected changes in their travel plans. Now, what you need to realize is you are their point of contact. You are the first person that they are going to go to. Something I want to let you know is if that is the case, that is actually a very good thing, because what that means is that they have your information, they're thinking of you, and they are coming straight to you because they believe that they can contact you and this issue, whatever it may be, is going to be sorted by you. So you do need to recognize that these things are going to happen. If you address them effectively, you aren't going to damage that relationship that you have spent all of that time building. So being able to manage the frustrations, just take a minute to breathe, take a minute to assess the situation. Different approaches, make sure you're listening actively. Now, this can be listening to the customer and they could be screaming and shouting and whatever it may be. Allow them to do that for a moment. Then you need to just address those concerns. Do not be defensive. They're coming at you because they've got your details. You booked that holiday and they've got nobody else to vent to. But then what you're going to do is you're going to explain to them, okay, I want to make sure I've heard this correctly. So what you're telling me is you've turned up at your destination, you have had a 45-minute delay, and when you've arrived, your transfer has actually decided not to wait for you, and you now don't have a transfer. Can I just double check that I have got that correct? Yes, you have. And you're still staying calm, and they could still well be up there at 100. But you stick to your very clear, you're showing that you're listening and you're staying calm. Okay. Now, just let me ask you again, because I did miss it. What is it that you've done once you've realized that your transfer hasn't arrived? Have you tried to call that emergency telephone number that is on your voucher? And you keep it like that. And like I say, we're going towards a very clear solution. If you do need to ask for help, that is not a problem. Anybody and everybody who can absolutely will help. But the key thing here is to ensure that you listen, ensure that you repeat back so that you've got that clear information and you're also showing them, but you have got to keep calm as possible. Maintaining your composure is vital. Again, I don't think there's anybody who doesn't know this, but sometimes that self-awareness can very much disappear because you are effectively being shouted at over and over again for something that is absolutely not any way, shape, or form your fault. So it absolutely can be challenging, but you also have to keep your composure and ensure that your customer remains or continues to have a positive experience with you. You're going to be reassuring them. You're still going to be building that trust because you have shown that you've listened. You have stayed. There's no need for you to shout back. There's no need for you to get frustrated at all. Allow them to be, and then try and bring them down a level. You are keeping professional. I also want to just explain the importance of staying calm prior to a booking and perhaps not even a customer. It could be a supplier. They may not, for whatever reason, you feel like they might not be listening to you. You're not getting the answer that you want. They could be talking over you. They could be refusing to do something that you know is right. If it's that, again, try and do the same thing. If you have to get to the point where you contact myself, that's no problem. That's absolutely fine. You can use your words and, you can put your point across, but by getting mad, getting wound up, getting angry, all you're actually doing is losing trust between yourself and that supplier. And by the time you come off that phone, whatever it may be, with that supplier who's caused this frustration, you've set yourself up for the day. You're already mad. And the other thing that I am aware that does happen, probably without people realizing, is once they have got that frustration in their head, they actually tend to go ahead and tell the customer. And what you're doing there is you are literally letting your customer know prior to booking what an absolute nightmare you've had. Now, are they going to perhaps book with you? Maybe, maybe not. Are they going to feel as though they're a burden? Yeah, perhaps. Are you kind of almost putting it back to them that you've had issues because of their inquiry? Absolutely. So, just on a general level, just keeping calm, trying to keep the situation calm is absolute, and not carrying it through. Taking that minute if you need it is 100% the way to go. A couple of tips: practicing some deep breathing techniques. I'm sure we've all done it for one reason or another. Establishing clear communication channels, taking breaks to reset and focus, listening actively to any concerns, using positive language in the communication, and maintaining a solution orientated mindset. They are setting you up to succeed even in those very frustrating times. And just the final thought. So, unfortunately, we can and most probably will face significant challenges. Embrace that discomfort, embrace it, take yourself out of your comfort zone. Utilize the systems that you may already have in place. You don't even necessarily go and have to source them from anywhere. Cultivate self awareness. This will help enhance your professionalism, your growth, those relationships, both short and long term, and implement these strategies to transform obstacles into opportunities for success. So, for those, like I say, who aren't here right now, thank you very much for joining. And I hopefully will see some new faces once again next week. Thank you.